Hey y'all, I'm down on my hands and knees this afternoon here in the backyard working in my Amaryllis. And I don't know if you have any or not, but this year they were just beautiful. We have a couple of plants that have multiplied, and we're so proud of them. They came from our parents' yards. I have one from my mother's yard, and Doug has one from his mother's yard, and it is so special to be able to come out in the backyard any time of the day, and when our eyes fall on these plants, we just think about our parents. In fact, recently Doug's brother and his wife were visiting with us, and I looked out the window, and Doug and his brother were standing in front of this Amaryllis, and I know that they were just remembering old times and just having a good time, thinking about when they were growing up and how their mother took care of the flowers in her feeble way and did the best that she could with what she had to do with. Amaryllis are, they start with a bulb, and a lot of times they're given as a gift. So you might have received an Amaryllis as a gift maybe around Thanksgiving or Christmas time, and it bloomed, and then it kind of died back, and if you've never grown them, you probably thought, well, I just need to throw this thing away. Well, don't be throwing your Amaryllis bulbs away, because they come back every year. Here in South Georgia, it's warm enough during the winter. It gets down sometimes in the 20s, and it's not that cold. So I've just chosen to plant mine outside, but they can be planted inside as a house plant, or they can be planted out in the yard. And we have several different areas in our yard where we have clusters of Amaryllis. They, like I said, they start as a bulb. They like moist soil. They like a lot of liquid fertilizer. That's what I use, liquid feeder. And I fertilize probably maybe every 3 weeks. And I do that throughout the whole season until probably when the first frost falls, and then I stop, and then I don't do anything else to them until maybe February. And the leaves die back during that period of time, and you'll pull those off, and then around the end of February, that little bulb, it just starts sprouting, and stalks start shooting up, and before you know it, it's almost like an overnight thing. You've got leaves, and you've got beautiful Amaryllis blooms on your plant. I wish that I could show you ours while they were still blooming. Doug would say that we had a bumper crop of blooms, and if you don't know what bumper means, it means a lot of them. So we enjoyed them this spring. They bloom in February, they bloom in March and April. So always around Easter time, we have Amaryllis that are blooming, and they come in different colors too. Most of mine are red, and I have some variegated red and white. But what I want to show you today is what I do to them once they have bloomed. I go in and I cut the stalks back and take them off, and again, that not only helps the appearance of it for the rest of the summer and into the early winter, so that it'll be pretty in your garden, but also it helps to keep the plant healthier. Because the plant gets its energy through the leaves, and if you leave these stalks on there, then it's just pulling the plant down. So I'm going to bring my camera, if I can get on my knees over here, I'm going to bring my camera over a little bit closer and turn it down here so that maybe you can see what I'm going to do. So this is one of the stalks where the Amaryllis, I'm going to turn this down just a hair so that you can see what I'm about to do. This is the stalk that came out, and this was the Amaryllis blooms. So it had 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's a seed pocket, and that's just robbing the plant. You don't need that. It'll multiply down at the bottom. But I'm going to take my knife, and I'm going to cut this about 1 inch from the bulb. And it's real tender. It's almost like it's full of water, and that's what it looks like. That's what you're cutting off, and that's what you're going to throw away. So we've got another one. I don't know if you can see the bulbs down here. You don't plant them all the way in the dirt. You plant them about probably 2/3. Look at that. Water's just pouring out of it. Look at that. But that's what you're taking off. And we'll just throw those away. And then I'm gonna reach over here and get this one. And then back here and get this one. And I've got two more, if I can do it without falling over on my head. And that's it. I've pruned those and just note, whoops, I left two. Got two more over here. Let's get those. Okay, I've got them. I think that's it. So now, what I'm gonna do for the rest of the summer, into the fall, and into the early winter, I'm gonna fertilize and water these I'm gonna fertilize about every 3 weeks, but then I'll just water as needed because you wanna keep it moist, you don't wanna keep it too wet. So if you don't have any Amaryllis, I hope that you'll consider getting some. And like I said, you can grow them in the house or you can grow them out in the yard. But I love being outdoors, so most of my plants are outdoors. And I hope you've enjoyed and hope you've learned something. I certainly learn something new every day. I try to anyway. So anyway, I'll see you soon.